All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. The New Orleans Pelicans made forward Zion Williamson, the first overall pick of the 2019 NBA draft, and for good reason, as you saw the potential for him to succeed at the pro level due to his athleticism and strength. But all of that potential does not mean that much when Williamson is constantly sitting on the Pelicans bench in street clothes. In 4 NBA seasons, Williamson has only suited up in 114 games for New Orleans. And to give you an idea as to how many games that is, that's basically one full NBA season, as well as the bulk of a playoff run, give or take by a few games by for a full playoff run. Now, some people are immediately going to question the conditioning of the young fella. And you look at it, he had knee surgery during his rookie campaign. He only appeared in 24 games. A thumb injury in the second season, as well as the Pelicans being very cautious with him coming back from the meniscus surgery, the foot surgery that sidelined him for the entire 2021-2022 NBA season. And then this season, the hamstring injury that has kept him out of action since January 2nd. Now, most of these injuries that I mentioned are lower body injuries, and you have to wonder if Zion needs to trim down in order for his body to be able to hold up for an entire NBA season. I said this not on, social media or anything like that, but two people last year, and I really felt that, in my opinion, the Pelicans made a mistake in giving Zion that extension. And I say this because they rewarded him without him really having to prove himself. And that to me, I think set a bad precedent. I also felt that the Pelicans should try to trade Zion because they made the playoffs last year. They gave the Phoenix Suns a scare, and I felt that even though the Zion has not played a lot for the Pelicans at this point in his brief NBA career, he still had value on the trade market, and the Pelicans could have got some more pieces back to help build this team. And the thing is, Zion has all of the potential in the world, but like I've said, it's not going to help you if you're sitting at the end of the bench, in some jeans or maybe possibly a suit. It's not going to happen. Now don't get me wrong, Zion is one of the NBA's youngest players that has a lot of upside if he's healthy. And, we saw that upside earlier this season as New Orleans began this year with a record of 24-14. They were one of the top teams in the Western Conference, and they had the look of a team that said, hey, you know what? They got to the playoffs last year. They gave the top seeded Suns a scare. And this team came back hungry and determined to build off of that. But obviously, the wheels fell off after the Zion injury. And we've gone from a hamstring injury that was expected to keep him out for about 3 weeks or so. Now we're talking about a 3 month injury. The Pelicans, are fighting for their playoff lives, and Zion looks like he's not going to be there. So, at the end of the day, I think, it's gut check time for everybody involved. Are the New Orleans Pelicans going to, keep having a reputation of being a franchise that like the star players don't want to play for? Is Zion going to get up and say, you know what? I'm tired of like hearing the critics for not playing. I'm tired of answering the questions, and I'm tired of people trying to say maybe I'm just trying to collect a check and do what he has to do, to keep himself out there in the basketball court. I think first and foremost, Zion Williamson probably needs to try to get down to maybe the 250, 255 mark, as opposed to being within the 270 to 280 range. I think it would help his career both short term and long term, because you're talking about a young man that is having these lower body injuries right now. What is going to happen to Zion's body if he continues to play competitive basketball by the time he reaches the age of 30? We're talking about a player that is definitely, on the fast track, if you will, to having a very short NBA career. But I mean, Zion in his 1 year at Duke didn't stay healthy, and of course, that has transferred over to the NBA as well. So this is a very interesting path that both Zion Williamson and the New Orleans Pelicans are barreling down right now. This is a guy, again, all of the talent in the world, but it won't really help you if you're not going out there and playing. We know what Zion could do as far as a post player. We know what he could do with his explosiveness to get to the basket. We know what he can do as far as he leans on people with that thick frame of his. It's a situation, especially where we're seeing in the current NBA, where it's all about the perimeter game. There's not a lot of people out there that are lining up to try to guard a guy like Zion Williamson in the post, and he knows that because nobody can stop him. But again, not to sound like a broken record, it doesn't amount to anything if you can't stay healthy. I said this last year, it was going to be an important summer for Zion and the Pelicans. I'm going to say it again because at the end of the day, whatever he is doing so far to get himself in basketball shape ain't working. It's got to be a complete 180. We got to try something new, dropping weight, nutritionist, conditioning, whatever it takes. But at the end of the day, what you're doing so far is not working. Zion got the one big payday. I will give him that. But if this trend continues, is there going to be somebody out there that is going to be willing to give him that second big payday? We have to wait and see. But nonetheless, right now, Zion is barreling down that category of what if, as far as what if or what could have his career have been if he had been able to stay healthy. And that's, an unfortunate situation for him. The talent is there, but again, it doesn't amount to anything if you can't stay on the court and help your basketball team. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out now to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now, you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, and I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.